Hello, everyone. My name is Ross Feldman, and you're on the IT On Call podcast here with Leon Davidman. How you doing, Leon?
I'm doing great, Ross. Thanks for having me here.
It's great to have you. What is the IT On Call podcast? It's the intersection of where business and technology meet. I've had many different business owners and entrepreneurs on the podcast, each one with a unique business and unique usage of technology. And today, we're going to learn more about dog training. But the great thing about Leon is not about dog training, it's more about people training. So we're going to definitely learn more about that. Leon, how long have you lived in the area?
I've lived in Indian Land, South Carolina now, I think 4 years.
4 years. Excellent. And based on the
Transplanted from Long
accent,
Island.
you're from Long Island. You're from the Northeast. Yeah, I always get that they want to know where my accent's from, and I say y'all because I've been here down here long enough. But yeah, I'm originally from Philadelphia, but I've lived here 31 years, so this is home for me in the Monroe, Union County area. Not over in Indian Land, but I did get the chance to come visit you guys. You have a networking group in Indian Land that I came to visit last year, and it was great to meet you and meet those members that are in there. So for the layman's, who is Back to Basics? Who's it for? Where did it come from?
Okay, well, Back to Basics was created from a need. Like most people, most people in my industry, I have a passion for dogs. I think dogs can teach humans so much if we learn to listen to what they're saying. But like many people, for years, I did this on the side. It was for fun. 12, 13 years ago, I had a major life shakeup. I lost my dad. And at the same time, after working for a company for 12 years, pretty much 80 hours a week, I lost my job while I was mourning the death of my father. And at that point, I decided I need to do something for me for a change. And what did I do? I said, I'm going to focus on helping dogs. I got tired of seeing on Facebook all the time dogs being returned to shelters, dogs being thrown out in the streets because of unwanted behaviors. One thing you'll learn, I'll never say a dog has a bad behavior. They're just unwanted. Nobody's taught them what we're looking for. So the passion became full blown at that point. I mean, literally the day I was terminated from that position, I went online in Florida and created the company on New York State business registration site, whatever it's called Back to Basics Dog Training. And this journey has been full of up and downs, and it's the best journey I've ever had in my life.
And you exude the passion. The minute I met you, I knew that you were passionate about dogs and people and the interaction between them, which is, when dogs sit, doesn't mean they dog train, and there's a lot of education to be out there about the difference between dog sitters and dog trainers.
And I agree. A lot of dog sitters are just that. They're just somebody who's staying in your home, watching TV, eating food, relaxing, and babysitting the dog, giving the dog affection. Of course, hopefully everybody that's dog sitting is doing because they actually love the animals. The difference being is, like I said, I'm from Indian Land. Right now I'm in Charleston doing what I call, and I'm proud of this new program we rolled out in end of 2024 called Stay and Train. The people are on vacation. I'm staying at their house with their beloved pet, but the dog needed some work, and I'm doing full-blown training while I'm here. The dog's getting probably worn out. I'm doing anywhere from 4 to 6 hours of training every single day with the dog, which training, guys, equals love. So the dog's getting plenty of affection at the same time it's learning a new skill.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is we talked about positive versus negative reinforcement and how important that is, where you need to give more positive, less negative.
Correct. And there's such a bad, in my industry, there's such a bad connotation with negative reinforcement. And it's all semantics in my world. When I grew up, discipline wasn't a bad word. Today, discipline's a bad word. In my life, it really isn't a bad word. To me, if you discipline your dog, if you discipline your children, as long as you're not hurting or scaring, you're teaching. That's what discipline should be. You made a mistake. I'm going to You're going to get disciplined for it, punished for it, whatever word we want. You're grounded. And I'm going to teach you a better way so that never happens again.
Right.
You know, hell, I mean, I'll show it on TV, on the camera. There's a scar from this dog I'm working with.
Ouch.
He made a mistake. We had a power outage. There was a lot of wind out here. He got scared of something, and I went to go soothe him and tell him, hey, no, we don't do that just because we're scared. You can't act. And because I couldn't see, it was nighttime, he redirected on me, and that was fine. But the key is I disciplined him by standing up and saying, hey, we don't do this. And then I waited till his mind calmed down. And then I praised him, and he was like, oh, my God, thank you. And he grabbed a toy. He wanted to play with me. So, yes, I disciplined him. I stood up. And I kind of, my energy told him I wasn't happy with what he just did. But because he gave in what I wanted, which was to calm down with this scary situation, we played for a little bit. His reward for being calm was we played his favorite game, which is tug. But I disciplined him, and he's no worse for wear. You know, so we need to take the stereotype out of that word discipline. It's not about pain. It's not about go to your room and think about what you did when it comes to the dogs. It's disciplining them with energy, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense.
The reason why people get dogs in the first place, right? The COVID pandemic, there was a huge upswing in people getting dogs, either buying them or rescuing them. And then when they all went back to work, they put them all back in the shelters, right? Yep. Then there's an upswing of needs of people. You know, now there's more pets than people, and we need, you know, more people taking care of pets.
Yeah.
When do you feel like people reach out to you first? Like, what is what is it when the iron meets the road happens that makes people reach out and look for a dog trainer?
Unfortunately, from my experience, and like I said, I've been Back to Basics has been around 13 years roughly. And unfortunately, I don't get a call till a slight problem becomes a problem. I don't get many calls for, hey, and I am starting to get them, but not as many as I would like. I'm getting a new puppy. I want to be prepared. They go on all the podcasts. They go to TikTok. They go to all these things to learn how to become a good parent. They take the time. Right. They research it. What do I need to baby proof? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? I don't see that so much with people that are getting dogs, especially for the first time. And if we can establish a good path from day one, you know, people ask me all the time, well, when can I start training my dog, my puppy? Well, I've had puppies. I start training them the day they come home. And they understand it. Now, can I train like I am with this dog here for 4 or 6 hours with a puppy? No, I can't. It's not fair. The puppy would be, you know, doesn't have the focus like a child doesn't have the focus. But you can start something right away. And the thing I tell people all the time, I've done this with my personal dogs. Day one, I don't care if I got an 8-week-old puppy or an 8-year-old dog. Mm-hmm. I start training the moment they come into the home. And the beauty of having people in my industry is if you reach out to them before you get the dog, we can set you up on that journey. You know, I know you and I have met at different networking things, and I always introduce myself as the head tour guide at Back to Basics Dog Training because I'm guiding people on a journey with their dogs. And it should be. Journeys are fun. Never should they be stressful. And when we don't set ourselves up for success from day one, that's when I get the call, and that's when I deal with things like this, because those little problems become huge problems. You know, oh, the dog is nipping. Well, the dogs nip.
Right.
But then when you don't correct them properly, and when I say don't correct properly, is correct them with anger. That doesn't work in the animal world. It doesn't work in the human world. Then all of a sudden that nipping becomes, wait, now I'm scared. I'm going to bite you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not listening to me. So we can set people up for success so quickly, and it's not a matter of me coming to the house. I know we're about this call is about IT. I'll tell you now, when the pandemic was going on, I stayed very successful because of Zoom.
Zoom.
I don't need to physically be there with the dog. If I explain to you what you need to do,
Right.
that's even better.
Because it's
So,
transforming the human's behavior. It's not just transforming the dog's behavior. It's
it's 99.9% of the time transforming humans, teaching people how to live calm, confident lifestyles.
Right.
Not 2025. Oh my God, I got to get somewhere yesterday. Slow down.
Slow down.
Breathe in the roses.
Yeah, it's amazing how much we're on the go, connected all the time, and push, and it's to what end, and tomorrow will bring the same. So what are you going to do to prepare for that?
Right. And our dogs are witnessing this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They are very hypersensitive to all the emotions that are in the house and all visitors and everything that goes past in their territory, right? The mailman, the delivery person, the Amazon guy, all that sort of thing. Definitely. It's encroaching on their territory.
Yes. And if we're not calm, how do we expect them to be calm?
Mm-hmm.
If we feed into their excitement, how do we expect them not to be excited? If we feed into their insecurities, and if you think about life in general, if we did that with our kids, we'd have problems. If we feed into our kids' insecurities, there's a boogeyman under the bed. A child is not going to want to sleep in their room.
Yeah.
I remember a story, and I use this in my dog training. I read an article years ago about a father who was taking his son to a therapist because the kid was afraid of the dark, the boogeyman under the bed. Nothing this therapist did seemed to get through to the son. And what the father did is, okay, we're going to fix this. He cut the legs off the bed. So the bed now sits on the floor. They can't be a boogeyman. And that worked great until he went to college.
And then he had a problem again. Oh no.
Yeah, it resurfaced very quickly because that's, I always say you put Band-Aids on surgery, major surgery, it doesn't work.
No, definitely not.
So, but we'll do that with dogs. Dogs are afraid of thunder. We coddle them. We reinforce that unsure state of mind by soothing them when they're not sure what's going on. Or they're excited to see us and we pet them. And in the same sentence, I get, my dog's overly excited. It jumps on me every time I come home. Well, you reward it every single time.
That's very true.
You got what you give, or you give what you get.
Definitely. I think that there's a lot of folks that when they decide to have children and they decide to have pets, that they have these preconceived notions that they don't quite know getting into it. And then they get into it and then they realize, oh no. And as you had said, like it's they call when it's too late, right? That it's they've had the dog already and they haven't been prepared for the dog, or they haven't prepared the environment, or they haven't prepared the schedule ahead of time to think about the dog's needs. So I see that definitely all the time.
Yeah, and it's sad because that's why our shelters are overfilled right now. I mean, and most of these dogs, I've worked in a lot of shelters between Long Island and now down here, where these dogs are just, I say, they're misunderstood. Why doesn't a dog like walking, or why does my dog pull me on a leash? Well, because you sit there and say, you want to go for a walk? And we get the dog all excited for the walk. And then they want to know why my dog drags me down the street.
Right. Because you don't want to run like the dog wants to run. Yeah.
Right. And believe me, we don't even walk fast enough for dogs.
No, they have 4 legs. We have 2.
Yeah.
They have the advantage.
So
you mentioned the Mecklenburg shelter, and they actually have a program that I hope everybody's aware of, which is called the Staycation Daycation, where you can actually loan the dogs, and you don't have to keep the dog, but the dog needs the new 4 walls instead of the 4 walls of the shelter. You can take them home with you, or you can take them home for the weekend, and they get that practice of being around humans that they don't get enough of when they're in the shelter.
it's a great program. I know a couple of people that do it. I'm not in a position right now where I can do it, but I do think even in our government shelters and the shelters themselves, we need to work with these, as a trainer, need to work with these people that are taking the dogs out for the staycations or the fostering programs. It's great we're taking them out, but if we're not guiding them what they need to do when they're in somebody's home, when they're going to the park with us or whatever, if we're not teaching them the proper way to be, they're never going to get that forever home.
Exactly.
And that's what these volunteers and these fosters who have a great heart, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate everything they do. I would like to see them take it to another level. So when we get Fido out of that shelter, Fido doesn't come back to the shelter.
Exactly. And
I hate
Fido,
revolving doors.
right, and that's reinforcing behavior that Fido didn't do anything wrong and ended up back in the shelter multiple times because families couldn't take care of him, and that damages the dog, and the dog didn't do anything wrong.
Right. And if a dog gets returned to the shelter enough times, it's never a good outcome.
Mm.
And that's reality. I mean, I have to be real.
Yeah, I have a heart. Like I want to have 100 animals, but I also know my lifestyle. I know that I'm out at clients all the time, every day, and they need love and affection and attention, and I need to make sure I'm giving them love and attention and affection they need. There's dog cams, right, that you can get, that you can watch your dog, and there's one with a tennis ball that you can play with the dog while you're at work. And I've actually seen a few workplaces, especially here in Charlotte, that actually are dog friendly, that will allow you to take your dog with you to work, which is kind of cool. So the dog isn't home alone all day. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I tell people all the time, I mean, doggy daycares are great. I love the idea of anybody, a workplace allowing dogs, that's phenomenal to me.
Yeah.
But dogs are very self-sufficient. I mean, we talked about the pandemic earlier. One of the biggest problems I had during the pandemic is dogs didn't get enough rest. Because we were home all the time. The kids were home all the time. So people getting these puppies. Puppies are supposed to sleep 18 to 20 hours a day, like babies.
Oh yeah.
And we weren't putting them in the crates. We weren't letting them have downtime, and they became neurotic puppies. And that's where, as a trainer, yeah, it was good. I got business. But as the dog lover, I hated every moment of it because people weren't doing what the dog does. The dog should be fine home. You know what they do when we're not home? They sleep.
They sleep. They sleep. They sleep. They eat.
They got the life I wish I could have. And unfortunately, over the years we've humanized them so much, and it's actually pretty insulting to the canine breed. Because we're not treating them like what they are. We're treating them like babies, and they're dogs. And I love dogs. Don't get me wrong. And I know when I tell people this, my dog Zoe is one of my daughters. I mean, but from the time I got her, I treated her first like a dog to balance her. And once I balanced her, I can do whatever I want because that quick I could get her right back to where I need her to be.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is that like every dog is trainable. It's just how much time and attention they're going to need, and how much behavior that's been baked into them that you need to undo before you can actually get started getting your work done.
And absolutely. And a lot of people pick wrong dogs for them. It's one of the services, at Back to Basics we do offer, where I call it matchmaking because I can't think of another word for it. But it's, it's like Match.com for humans. But what I do is I meet with the families and I find out who they are, what their energy level is. If you're not an active person and, you're more of a couch potato, I have to go out every so often, don't get a high energy dog. But, this dog jumped all over me. It loves me. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but that dog is way too much energy for you.
Right. And you're not a good match.
Right. Or if you're a high active person that loves hiking and going out and doing things, you don't get an English bulldog. But people don't look at that. They expect the dog to conform to us, and yes, they can. But you got to look at energy is energy. I don't care who you are or what you are. If you're not high energy, don't get a high energy dog. If you're not low energy and you are a high energy person, don't get a low energy dog. Just because, I like the wrinkles on a bulldog. Okay,
yeah, it's cute. Great. It's cute looking. Right.
And so you have to clean those wrinkles, and that some dogs don't like it, and that's when I get. It's like dogs not liking their nails cut.
Yeah, there's a lot of different like breeds out there, and people aren't aware of the idiosyncrasies of those breeds, and they need to be. They need to educate
somebody getting who has young kids, who kids should be running around like lunatics. That's what kids do. I would never want to stop a kid from being a kid, but I've worked in homes where people have actually asked their kids to stop running around and playing because it's irritating the dog. Well, we can teach a dog that the kids running around represents calm, but if you have young kids, why are you getting a herding breed dog that's job, its DNA is saying, oh, you're running around, we got to fix this. Oh, the dog bites my kid's ankles. No, it's not. It's doing its job.
Right. It's hurting.
And that's what I'm saying. We pick the wrong dogs because we go by one looks. Or my parents had these dogs and they were always good dogs and we never had to do anything. No, you didn't have to do anything. Your parents did.
Your parents did all of that. My son desperately wants a dog, but I know he wouldn't take good care of a dog. And it's like, oh, they're cute. And I was like, yes, but you have to walk them. You have to clean up after them. You have to do lots of things. And dogs need things. And it's like, he's like, but they're cute. I'm like, yes, I know. They're cute. There's a lot of technology we talked about. And I think Google and ChatGPT are really powerful to get suggestions. And I would empower people to describe their lifestyle to ChatGPT. I am a avid bike rider looking for a dog breed that will walk with me while I'm on the bike and things like that. Or, consult a trainer who has that experience and can be able to match make you correctly with the breed of dog that is appropriate. You and I were also talking earlier about when a dog has a behavior problem that the owner should video that and send you the video. That's something powerful to use technology when it comes to dog training.
Oh, absolutely. The biggest problem I have as a trainer is when I walk into your home, your dog doesn't misbehave because they read my energy. And I hate the terminology because I know it's not the right thing, but I don't know how else to say it. Is they sense that pack leader alpha energy from me. So they're like, oh, this guy, I can't jump on him. They know it. They're, like I said, they're very smart animals. So I don't get to see a lot of unwanted behavior. My dog pulls me down the street when I walk. Well, I take the dog out for a walk with one or two very simple corrections. They get it and they follow through and they just go with me. This dog I'm working with now, he's a 110-pound dog. His biggest issue when he walks is he's very leash reactive to other dogs in a happy-go-lucky way, but he's 110 pounds, so it scares people.
Yeah.
And it started because the walk itself started excited. Well, then I see my friend, oh my gosh, yay. And now you're, trying to fight with a 110-pound dog. Good dog. I can't, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'5", 220. 110-pound dog gives me a run for my money. So I'd rather control it mentally than physically. And it is so important. I'm glad you brought up the walk because one of the things I tell people, I hear the excuses. I came from Long Island. Everybody had large properties. Oh, I don't need to walk the dog. I got a big property. I have a big backyard. Blah, blah, blah. You need to walk the dog. That is, and this is my biggest problem with people getting dogs for their children is because the walk should be about structure and leadership, not about smelling the roses, not about play. This is a teaching opportunity. I tell people all the time, I've had dogs my whole entire life. I'm not going to count the dogs I grew up with because mom and dad did all the work. But the dogs that I've had, I've had older dogs, I've had puppies. None of them walked on leashes very well. But within 6 months, they were all off-leash trained. That is how a walk should be. Now, you need leashes. I believe leashes are so important because they're animals. They can make mistakes. But off-leash experiences are phenomenal. That's walking, holding the leash, not knowing you're holding the leash.
Right.
And your dog wanting to be with you because they do want to follow calm, confident leadership. So do our children.
You got to get yourself checked out before you wreck yourself. You've got to get your leadership mentality squared away before you even attempt to bring that onto the dog.
Right. And it's simple to say, hard to do. I'm one of those guys that likes throwing out these acronyms or whatever. I don't even know if that's the right word, but I do have my trademark saying that is no anger, no frustration, no nonsense. The reason I trademarked it is one, this is my lifestyle. I don't allow anger into my life. I have no room for anger in my life. Anger shortens my life. I do enough other garbage that shortens my own life. I don't need to have anger and emotion help shorten my life. So I really pride myself on not allowing anger into my life. I'm not saying I don't get angry. I am human. But I can control it and get out of it quicker than most people I know when I do hit those points. Frustration, guys, I preach this. We've all done jigsaw puzzles. And this is the best way I can describe it. You got that one piece and you're looking and you can't figure out where this one piece goes for a half hour. Finally, you throw the piece on the table. You walk away. You come back a half hour later. Oh, it goes right there.
Right there. There it is.
But we try to control humans and animals with anger and frustration. Men with our testosterone. You're not doing what I want. Good luck. Your dog will eventually resent you, and that's why more men get bit in this country than women. I'm sorry, because we have testosterone and we try to control everything. The other way, women are no better with the estrogen, that motherly nurturing thing, which is great, but only mother and nurture the right state of mind. The calmer state of mind, not the scared state of mind, not the excited state of mind. And then no nonsense comes from how my parents raised me. No means no. Why? Because they said so.
Right.
Too many people trying to explain to their dogs why they shouldn't do something. Doesn't work. Don't jump on grandma. Grandma's on blood thinners. The dog's not going to understand that.
I have no idea what you're talking about. No.
Right. So how about we just say no? And I also do use the KISS theory of training, keep it simple. I won't say the other word because it's not politically correct anymore. But I do use the KISS theory, and it's a life lesson I learned. No means no. Why? Because I said so. One discipline sound, guys, for any unwanted behavior you never want to have it happen again.
Yeah.
It's a simple concept. Puppy chews my shoes. It's not leave it. I never want you to chew my shoes. It's no. Jump on my guest. It's not off. It's no. Don't want you on the furniture. It's not off. It's no. But make no relevant. And then when they do what you want to do, turn that no so quickly into a yes. Bear bit me the other night. Put his mouth on me. I won't even say he bit me. And I said no because he put his mouth on me. And my goal was to get that no to a yes so quick. And it took maybe 30 seconds. I don't even know how long it was. But once I saw his state of mind change to, yes, good boy, I grabbed his tug toy and we started playing.
That's awesome.
So later on that night, he got scared again. I did the same routine, even though I just got bit. And he didn't react that way because he wanted to get to the yes quick.
Yeah. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
Right. Yeah. And that's a positive reward. There's such a, like I said earlier, there's such a bad kind of thing. It's not about giving treats all the time. It's not about giving even the toys. It's about giving my love and affection in the right state of mind. And I'm only going to do that when they're calm. I won't talk to, this is going to get me in trouble, my wife or my kids when they're angry, when they're not calm, because when they're not, you can't communicate to a human who's angry and frustrated. How can I communicate to a dog if I'm angry and frustrated? Does that make sense?
Very fair. I mean, it's your state of mind. It's 100% your state of mind. Yeah. So, and it's one of those that we need to take a deep breath, look at ourselves, and reassess the situation. Put yourself in a third-party position between you and the dog. Try and be an outsider. How would an outsider observe the situation and take that feedback? And sometimes you hire a professional. It's one of those that some people see the value of hiring a professional to do things, and sometimes they want to do it themselves, DIY. So what advice would you give someone who's trying to DIY? What kind of resources are out there? And how can you encourage them to hire you, a professional, to be the dog trainer?
Well, there's a plethora of videos out there. And, even me as a professional dog trainer, I watch all the other trainers on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and I watch them. And I learn from them what to do and what not to do. You have to use your common sense. One, if you're looking up training, look it up, YouTube it. But you got to give it an honest attempt. There was a famous trainer who has a bad reputation and a good reputation and had his own weekly show. I'm not going to mention names because I don't know what legality things go on. And he had a whole ton of videos out there and books out there, and I've gone into people's homes and I've seen on their bookcase stacks of their videos, stacks of his books. I've tried everything. It doesn't work. No, because you're trying, you're not just doing. And that's one of the biggest things is these DIYs, and some people do it. Hey, I used to do a free live Q&A session every week, twice a week, just to get out to the world. I mean, I've had people as far as Australia and Germany and England, and I think I had somebody from Portugal once, on my live chats where I was giving free dog training advice to people across the world. And some people had huge success with it. Others didn't. Those people ended up hiring me. So, I'm all for, I'm a common man. We all work hard for our money. Try it. Give it a good effort. Don't try it, just do it. But realize if there's a shortcoming, what you need, then hire a professional. It's like I used to fix my own cars. No problem. I probably can still do a lot of it, but I look at my time and say, is it worth my time? Or let me get somebody to guide me, to show me a quicker way to do it, so I can enjoy fixing my car. I'm not fixing cars anymore. I'm done with that. I'm not a computer guy.
Yeah, they're all computers now. They're just computers with 4 wheels on them.
Yeah, but you understand that concept. Yes, years ago, I fixed my cars. But when it came to brakes, I brought my car in.
Yeah.
Because it was too much and too risky for me. So for basic obedience, guys, I say do it. Do it yourself. Don't worry about the big box stores classes. There's plenty of videos on there. Do it yourself. Enjoy it, but make it fun. Don't make it into a job. I tell people all the time, I've worked for corporate America most of my life, but I worked. For the last 12, 13 years, I don't feel like I worked a day in my life.
Right.
For the last 12 or 13 years, because I enjoy it. This is fun. If you get a dog, make it fun and be interactive. They're not status figures. They're part of our families, yes, even though I say don't humanize them. Enjoy being with them. Teach them what you want. Don't expect them to understand what you want. And I think that's the biggest problem we're having today is people just expect these animals to know what to do in my house.
Right.
They're not going to know what to do. You have to teach them. I wouldn't expect my grandchildren to know what to do around a swimming pool. I got to teach them.
Right.
And we're willing to teach the humans. We expect dogs to understand it.
And to speak English, as you said, right? It's just like they just need to teach them yes and no and give them as many yeses as you can and get rid of the no's as quick as you can. I think that's very sage advice.
Yeah. And the biggest thing I can tell people is energy speaks volumes. It speaks louder than my voice can ever travel. It's definitely a more powerful tool than the words coming out of my mouth. Dogs understand, animals in general, even human animals, understand energy. I've had the privilege of having dogs my whole entire life. I've gotten that phone call where I get bad news. I don't say a word, but my dogs know it. Why? Because they're reading my energy constantly. They're 24 hours, 24/7 reading my energy. So if I'm happy, they know it. If I'm disappointed, they know it. If I'm angry, they know it. I mean, my dog Zoe, because I am human, when I get angry at my wife or my kids, especially when we had a house up north, we had her crate was always out. She'd always sit by me, but if I got angry, she went and got in her crate and actually told me, "Ooh, slow it down. My energy was changing." My dog was teaching me. So you don't need to say a lot. That famous person had a show called, I could probably say the show, right?
Yeah.
The Dog Whisperer.
Yeah.
And if you actually understand what that means, it's a silent form of training because we don't need the words.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those that we're getting our information from all sorts of angles, right? With social media and TV and traditional media. So it's like, what do we believe and what do we not believe? And it's important to know where the source is coming from. So the Dog Whisperer is someone who is a trainer and someone who has that experience, right? It is a good voice of reason to listen to.
And, like we were talking about earlier, go online, look at these videos. And if you don't like the methodology, don't trash it.
Mm,
Find something that suits you better.
right.
Because none of us are the same. What I do, there are people out there, I'll tell you now, there are other trainers that will totally say what I do, because I do a simple leash correction, is abuse. Okay, I'm not going to go into semantics with these people. But, out of the thousands of customers and dogs I've helped, nobody would ever say their dog was afraid or hurt by me.
Everybody's had a positive experience with you so far, which is good.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not a matter of me even, like I said, I've helped hundreds of people at this point on Zoom, which is definitely a more economical form of training because I don't have to travel.
A lot more efficient, right? Yeah, you don't have windshield time. So if people wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Well, the best way to reach out to me is either my website, www.backtobasicsdogtraining.com, and it's basics, plural. Or my phone number, text me at 803-415-6970. Facebook, Back to Basics Dog Training SC for South Carolina. There's plenty of ways to get me. You can email me at info@backtobasicsdogtraining.com. There's plenty of ways to get me, guys. And right now I'm offering free phone consultations, evaluations to anybody. And, the beauty of my methodology of training is you don't have to be in local South Carolina, because I can help you through modern technology. Between Zoom and Google Meets and Microsoft Teams and what's the other? I think you can even do it now through Messenger on Facebook. You can do video stuff. It's me explaining to you the psychology of the dog. And you put the effort in. They respond. There was a couple I worked with just recently, and for whatever reason, the dog hated their son. Growled and was, I don't even want to say hated because that's human. It was unsure of their teenage son. I got news for you. I'm unsure of teenage boys. I was one. I know what's going. We do. And we just changed one simple thing. I asked them to have the son feed the dog.
That's
a
change.
Child into a different light.
Yeah.
But they had to feed the dog only when the dog was calm. So the son was rewarding the dog for being calm, and then gave the ultimate prize, food.
Food. Oh, yeah.
Food is primitive, guys. And that changed the dynamics. Now the dog actually comes over to the son for affection.
That's cool.
We still got some work to do there. There's still some issues, but they're making such great progress because they understood it's not about physical, it's about mental.
Right. It's all a mental game.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you, Leon. I appreciate you coming on the podcast and taking the time today. And I hope the listeners reach out. And if you ever need my time with Better Call IT, where technology is your headache, you just reach out at scheduleross.com, and you can get time on my calendar, or support at Better Call IT if you want to open up a trouble ticket. It's been a great day, and everybody have a great one.
You too, Russ. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon.